Hello, everybody. I'm Dave McClelland, and after a year-long struggle, it is a tooth-and-nail battle between two drivers. In NHRA competition, each round win is worth 200 points, plus bonus points for low ET and top speed of the event. After a year-long struggle, only 160 points separate number one from number two. Today is the day that the Top Fuel Eliminator World Championship will be decided. For more on that story, here's Steve Evans.
Well, Dave, the Top Fuel World Championship comes down to a battle between two men in two cars. Behind me, Joe AMATO, Old Forge, Pennsylvania. His car crewed by the famed Tim Richards. They've been in 7 national event final rounds. They have won 3 of those. They come to Pomona with a 1-round points advantage over, ironically, the car pitted right next door to them. Now, this car has been in 6 final rounds and has won 5 of them. And, of course, I'm talking about from Lansing, Michigan, Dick LAHAIE. His Top Fuel dragster crewed by his daughter, Kim. For almost 30 years, you've been working towards this day. How do you feel?
I feel great. I mean, we're ready for this thing. It's built up to it over the whole season, and with the races that Joe and I have had, and it should be the 2 best cars in the country running for this World Championship, and that's what's happening right now. And
if it's not to be, can the team handle that disappointment should it come?
Oh, certainly. You know, we have done better than we've ever done in our life, and if we don't win the World Championship, that means we'll just have to try a little harder next year.
Joe, unlike Dick LAHAIE, you've been in this situation before. You won the world title in '84. How has this season, how has this title chase been different?
Well, it's a lot tighter. There's a lot more cars running better, and it's going to be a lot more rewarding at the end because the competition is so great, and we're coming down to a shootout at the OK Corral.
Well, if both those men sounded ready and confident to you, you're absolutely right, because they both survived round 1 earlier today. Final preparations being made right now for round number 2. Your team owner, Larry Minor, has won in the first round. You face him in the second round. What's going to happen there?
We're just going to go race forward. That's what it amounts to. We discussed it earlier, and if we're going to win this World Championship, we've got to beat everybody there, and he's going to have to be one of them.
Well, if you believe that, I'll sell you a bridge.
Well, you've heard from both LAHAIE and AMATO about the situation. Obviously, the Larry Minor car is being prepared to go to the starting line against his own teammate. And Larry, even the most loyal AMATO fan wouldn't blame you if this car didn't move from the pits.
Steve, this is really a hard decision. You know, I've talked to my guys, and I've talked to LAHAIE about it, and really they kind of want to race for it. We know what's at stake here, and it's a hard decision, but we're tuning the car up to take it to the line, and we don't really know what's going to happen. We're just going to play it out.
Well, I got the feeling, Dave, that Larry Minor feels he owes it to the fans to put 2 cars on the starting line, but maybe he also owes it to the fans to not deprive them of a head-to-head AMATO LAHAIE race in the semis.
Dick LAHAIE in the near lane, Larry Minor in the far lane. The cars identical in their appearance. And LAHAIE goes up in smoke. Minor's out in front, and then he backs off. And Dick LAHAIE gets the break of a lifetime. 5.59 seconds. He doesn't care what the lap time is, but he put this car on a super diet after the first of the season. He lost about 200 pounds off of the car weight and instantly picked up performance. And problems for Connie KALITTA. A minor fire. KALITTA slows. GWYNN wins the race. The elapsed time for GWYNN of 5.21 seconds, 275-mile-an-hour charge.
At the Winter Nationals, his parachute failed, and he crashed the car into the net at the far end. He wasn't hurt, the car was.
Then in his first round race today against Ed Moore, Ray Stutz had disaster strike once again. A huge engine explosion, a ball of flames streaming out from behind the car. Stutz was able to keep the car pointed straight down the racetrack. He very calmly brought it to a safe stop, uninjured in this engine explosion and fire. But of course, his racing season over.
But David, early this morning, there was trouble in paradise. We, along with several hundred fans, were drawn to the Kenny BERNSTEIN pit area by a giant cloud of smoke. Kenny, the crew just routinely warming up the car, and suddenly the entire area is engulfed in smoke. What happened?
Well, for something siphoning nitro, we were actually on alcohol just warming it up, and something was siphoning nitro into the engine, and it wouldn't shut off, so we had to use the fire extinguisher to kill the motor, to put it in the injector to squeeze her down and make her die.
Well, we don't have much time before first round. Is this going to entail taking the engine apart or what?
I don't think so. Dale will take care of it. We'll find where it's siphoning out right now, what line's not doing what it's supposed to do, and I don't think it'll have to come apart. I hope not.
Thank you, Kenny. We stayed in the Bernstein camp and watched Dale Armstrong, the most publicized drag racing crew chief ever, as he sorted his way through this maze of lines, and he found it. A stuck check valve. The Budweiser King was in the lane for the first round. To another contract that drive that Thunderbird.
And that's good news for everyone. Oh, they're both up in smoke. This is a battle of who can recover first, and it's Mark Oswald. He regains the traction and drives it through. And there was the case of the driver winning the race.
Don the Snake Prudhomme. This is the Pontiac Skull Bandit Trans Am. Now Prudhomme idling up towards the burnout area. He'll get those tires good and wet, then move a few feet closer to the starting line, and then depress the throttle in high gear to smoke those tires. Oh, wait a minute, the tires did not smoke. Don Prudhomme had a very poor burnout, and that could benefit this man, Dale Pulde, in the In-N-Out Hamburgers car.
Pulde in the far lane, Prudhomme near lane. Pulde last to stage. And Prudhomme's problems persist. He gets close to the center line. Pulde wins the race. Dale Pulde with a 5:51 elapsed time.
4-speed transmissions. That's Joe LePone last to stage. And a terrific lead by both drivers. Joe LePone with his nose out in front over in the far lane. Beretta far lane, Camaro near lane. It is Joe LePone. Identical elapsed time, 7:51. LePone on the starting line made the difference.
They're just a few inches away from the actual starting line. They're ready. A good start. And Warren Johnson is out first. Warren Johnson beats Nick Nicholas to the finish line, a 7.48 second elapsed time.
The engine essentially back together in the Joe AMATO car. Crew Chief Tim Richards, you've given Joey a very consistent car for 2 rounds. Your thoughts as you race for the World Championship?
Well, I feel as though that this is definitely the biggest run of our career, Joe and mine and everybody else here, and it's real important to stay consistent on this track. The track seems to be going away a little bit, but we've got to go for it. I have to figure that LAHAIE has maybe a 17 or a 16 in his car, and we just have to go for it. I don't feel as though we're in a real good position here because we've been making a little too much heat in this car, and LAHAIE isn't. So it's a lot easier for him to step up than it is us. We're trying to back up at the same time we're trying to go fast. It's not a good situation.
Well, the situation here is that Dick LaHaye's daughter Kim is going to try to give her father a dragster that won't smoke the tires and will get a hold of the racetrack. Kim, your feelings, the World Championship on the line?
Well, we're just going to try to run the best that we can, and hopefully it won't smoke the tires. And whatever the outcome is, we're real happy with the year.
But Joe AMATO came up through the sportsman ranks. He's already won a World Championship title. In fact, practically everything Joe AMATO touches turns to gold.
Dick LaHaye is the last to stage, the way he likes it in the rock.
Joe AMATO has problems. Dick LaHaye heads to the finish line and is the world champion. Dick LaHaye in a tremendous victory has taken $100,000 on that single run. The crew checking down track, making sure LaHaye makes the turnoff and is safe and okay.
The crew expressing some concern in the starting line, David. We can tell them from down here that Dick LaHaye is A-okay, and one happy man, and we'll talk to him soon.
With the resounding cheers of a standing ovation from this huge crowd, the Dick LaHaye family heads down track to meet up with the new Winston World Champion.
For the first time in his 30-year racing career, a world championship, the Winston World Championship, and $100,000 belongs to this man, Dick LaHaye, 519.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you very much. I'm almost lost for words.
You know, Dan Henley, the team manager for Winston, is busy taping your name on this check. It's a monstrous check for a monstrous amount of money, my friend.
Well, thank you. It just, you know, we smoked the tires in the round before, and both the Miller cars were out there racing each other, and we were going to go for it, and I told Larry, I said, stand on the gas because I'm racing you. And just smoke the tires, and I'll be truthful with you, he gave me that round.
This particular race, tell me, did you see AMATO? Did you see his problems?
I never seen him, no. We just left, and I just kept hoping and praying to the Lord that he'd never see a wheel, and I never seen him.
I hear a horn honking. Do we have any idea who could possibly be behind the wheel of that truck?
It's probably Team LaHaye, and Kim's leading them.
Indeed it is. Kim LaHaye, the entire LaHaye family roaring down here to take a look at what has to be the most amount. You never dreamed in your wildest days that drag racing could have that kind of reward.
Never. I mean, you know, when we started this almost 30 years ago, we was lucky to race for $500. Now it's $100,000.
Kim LaHaye, you're thrilled, I know.
Oh, sure did. It worked good.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Steve.
Guys, right there.
Darrell Gwynn, the car's shaking and vibrating, rocking on those huge rear slicks. He is pre-staged and staged. Eddie Hill finally moves in.
And Hill with the advantage and some problems on Hill's engine, but he stays with it. The flame continued to come out on Eddie Hill. But for Darrell Gwynn, he advances to the finals to race against the new world champion, Dick LaHaie. You have the lane choice in the respective round. He's going directly now into the final round. He wants a quick time. McCulloch got a tremendous start, and look at the wheel stand. McCulloch drove through a power wheel stand at the middle of the racetrack. His time, 5.48 seconds, 268 miles an hour.
There are people in the grandstand still with their mouths hanging open. This reporter is in the same boat. Unbelievable wheel stand.
Well, it left pretty good, went out there, Steve, and locked the clutch up and was hooked up good. And I mean, it put the front end up, and I needed lane choice real bad for next round, so I just hung with it. And it hung in there and went a long ways with the front end a long ways up. And what'd it run?
A 5:48.
Well, I'd like for it to run a little quicker than that.
But wait a minute, when that thing went up, you had to be staring right into the sun.
Yeah, no, it was up a long ways. It, you know, I mean,
Could you see any of the racetrack?
No, nothing. You know, out front of you is all you see is the hood. But I mean, I could see to the side, and I mean, it was going straight, so I just, you know, pedal it. I didn't come back off of it much, but just a little bit, and it carried there, and away we went.
Oswald in the far lane, first to stage. Meyer and Oswald lead the starting line together. And it's so close at the finish, nobody knows who won. It was Billy Meyer. Thank goodness for electronic win judges, as Billy Meyer had a 5.46 second elapsed time to the losing 5.47 time by Mark Oswald. In replay, you can see the two cars leaving the starting line at almost the identical moment. It was a pick'em race at half track. Then, as they approached the finish line, it appeared Oswald had the lead.
There wants to stage first. This is what we talked about earlier when you get two drivers obstinate about being last to stage. On Glidden brakes, LePone won that one.
And then he lost it. A red light on the starting line indicating Joe LePone and the Beretta moved way too soon. That automatically gave the win to Bob Glidden. LePone was disqualified at the start. The time for Glidden. Gwynn makes the move first. Now, LaHaie into the beams. LaHaie's got the advantage at the start, but Darrell Gwynn drives right past him. And Darrell Gwynn is the Winston Finals champion. Look at the elapsed time, 5.13 seconds. His speed, 276 miles an hour. Meyer comes into this race with a choice of lanes by just a few hundredths of a second. It's a good start. Instantly up in smoke goes McCulloch. And look at Meyer streak to the finish line. 5.47 seconds, continuing the performance dominance that Billy Meyer has enjoyed throughout eliminations. For Ed McCulloch, what a disappointment.